All right, so I'm going to make you a coconut latte.
Okay.
So it automatically grinds the right amount of espresso. So it's going to be a double shot. It actually looks like it shorted it a little bit. Let's get a little more. Make sure you get nice and caffeinated. We don't want you to be short on the caffeination.
No.
All right, so we lock that in, and then we're going to give it a run. All right, I've already got your coconut syrup in here, and then as soon as that's run, I'm going to do your milk. I did 2% today. You're okay with 2%?
Yes.
I didn't ask. So if that runs good, it'll have a nice froth on the top of the espresso if it's done right. And I'm still running with some cabin coffee beans, thankfully.
Yeah. Cabin coffee is good.
It's good coffee. All right, see how it's starting to froth up
Yes.
at the top? That's a good sign that it was pressed in nice. And this is an automatic one, so it'll automatically shut off, thankfully. All right. I'm going to take that and dump it in there so it'll meld with the flavor really good while it's hot. And then I'm going to get in here and do your latte milk now. Turn that steam on. And for latte, you want it to just be below the milk line. You don't want to hear too much noise. And I don't have my little temperature gauge, so I'm going to have to eyeball it. You want to try to keep all the bubbles out as much as possible. And it should start swirling, kind of like making circles. Like a little whirlpool in there. And it's starting to do that. You just kind of keep that wand, because it'll start kind of growing the milk. So you kind of keep that wand up above the milk.
Oh, cool.
You hear the sound kind of changing?
Yeah.
That means it's getting kind of silkier and silkier. If it was a cappuccino, you would want it to be on top of it so you would get lots of air in it, and then it would start like frothing it. All right, so it's getting close. I can tell by the noise. And then I'm going to take it to the bottom a little bit to make sure it gets that nice and heated. It's a little more bubbly than I'd like, but I'm going to give it a tap because you can get some of the bubbles out like that. Tap it and swirl it. And then we'll pour it in here. And if you do it kind of at an angle there, you're more likely to get some of that froth off the top. And it'll make you a nice latte. And there you go.
Oh.
Yeah. So there is your coconut latte for our show today.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. I'm going to make me one too, but
Okay.
we'll sit down and enjoy that. All right, so Tina is here with me for Boom Roasted, and we are having lattes together. I showed her how I made my lattes. I did salted caramel and I did coconut.
Yes.
For you. So that's what we're having as our coffees together. We are snowed in together.
Yes, we are. It is beautiful. This is amazing.
Because you're a Florida girl.
Yeah.
We're Florida girls.
Yes.
But I happen to not live in Florida anymore.
Right.
So, and that wasn't planned. The whole snowing thing wasn't planned.
No, it was not.
Well, and you guys had a nice snow last year, which was crazy.
Yes, we did.
So, but this was, yeah, you
It
guys.
wasn't even like this. So.
Yeah.
And it was a lot for us.
It was a lot. It was a lot. So it was cool to see pictures of you guys like down there with the snow, because it's like I haven't seen, well, I guess the last snow down there was like 1989. And it was just a dusting.
It was dusting.
Yeah, it wasn't like what you guys
No.
got this last year. That was just like a phenomenon.
It was.
So we were talking about, so Tina's here with me on Boom Roasted. She's my ride or die. And I mean, me, you, and April talk and text every day.
Every day.
Almost. Yeah, something every day. And sometimes it's encouragement. Sometimes it's pray for me, I'm about to lose my mind. Or hey, I may have lost my mind today.
Yeah.
And I need somebody.
Please tell me to be quiet.
Yes.
Talk me down.
You guys are literally the two people in my life that, and you have especially, I posted things on Facebook and you're like, girl, go take it down. Like you have said that to me. And I'm grateful for that, because now you're the voice in my head. Like, is Tina going to tell me to take this down?
Oh, that's crazy.
But I know that because now I know I have people in my life that are not just yes men, that I'm accountable to and will tell me when I'm wrong.
And we need that.
Everybody does.
We all need that.
Like, and I'm a big personality and you're a big personality. And so it's like people sometimes assume personalities like me don't allow people in our lives to speak into us like that. But I long for it. I need that because even like the relationship with Jevin, like some people sometimes will assume that Jev and I's relationship is something it's not, but I need a big personality husband as well that can say to me, hey, slow it down, hush your mouth. So I'm grateful for your friendship because sometimes you have to roast me.
In love.
In love. But we've been friends we were just talking about this, for 12 years.
Yes.
We ran into each other because we were going to the same church in kind of a weird season for both of us, in a church that didn't really fit us.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But we definitely found each other in the midst of all of that. And you were in need of a child caretaker for
my grandson.
Yeah. And I was in a season where my kids were in school and I was staying at home. I was doing mission work, but I was staying at home with my kids because my husband was traveling a lot, and I could help you with that because I was raising money for missions, and it just worked out.
It worked perfect. The timing was perfect.
It was.
It began perfectly. It ended perfectly for both of us.
Yeah. And the Lord knew what he was doing too, because we thought it might have just been like helping each other out, but he actually put us in relationship and built relationship with us. And I know you probably thought I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when we first met each other, but you realize I was a good kind of cuckoo, I hope, because we're still together, and you traveled a long way to see me, so it must have been worth it. But we went on mission trips together. And you are my one that will go with me off season because you own a business.
It's off season for me.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me a little bit, like, what was it like for you on that first mission trip?
Okay, the most profound thing, one of the most profound things anybody's ever said to me is when you came to me during prayer and you looked at me and said, get your passport. And that was at New Life. And I was like, okay. Well, and I'm thinking, what am I going to need a passport for? Because I'm never getting on a plane. That was just set. I'm not flying. But I prayed about it, and I went and got my passport. And within, I don't know 4 months, you're like, we're going to Trinidad. And it was amazing.
The first trip you went on, was it a Christmas trip or was it a spring trip?
The first trip we went on was a Christmas trip. It was me and you and Nelson, and it was Nelson's
first trip too.
Yes.
I forgot about that. Yes. It sure was.
So, and that helped me because I'm like, okay, Nelson's being brave and he's going into the unknown and I'm going to act very brave.
Yay. That is so fun. And going on that first trip for you, because first airplane ride. Was that the first airplane ride you ever?
No, because I actually had the opportunity to go to my cousin's wedding and we flew so I could practice with my husband.
That's right.
Instead of getting on the plane for the first time with you flying over an ocean.
Right.
We flew to Connecticut.
That's right. I remember that. Because didn't I help you plan that trip?
Yes, you did. You actually booked it.
Which was kind of crazy. But yeah, so we went to Trinidad and we have been on many trips since then. Probably 6 or 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're the one that travels with me in Christmas.
7, I believe we went 7 times together.
7 times.
Yeah.
Wow. And mostly just me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly. Yeah. And Nelson off and on throughout those years. I think Ben's went on one with us. One time we went. Didn't you go with me?
No, that was Julia.
Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah. So those trips going down there, tell me because you've done so much since then, how has that opened the door for other things?
First of all, I never thought I'd leave the United States, that I would get on a plane and I would fly. I never dreamed that one of the things that I found that was shocking to me when we got to Trinidad and we're riding through the streets and I'm like, these people are not going to understand my testimony because they're poor. And, they can't afford addiction you got to think too, this was what, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, so I've learned a lot since then. I've grown
Right.
a lot since then.
Just a lot of ignorance, not
Yeah.
knowing what was
Yes.
what was what.
And so I realized that our hang-ups are the same everywhere. We
Everywhere.
all battle the same battles.
Mhm.
There's nothing new.
Mhm.
I mean, the enemy has nothing new to throw at us.
That's
It's the
exactly
same.
right. Yeah. And although the addiction might look different, what they're addicted to might look different.
Right.
Addiction exists everywhere.
Yes. And that's from the growing. That's when you learn, because I've learned since then that addiction is not just drugs.
Right.
Or alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So saying that, so whenever I met you, you were out of addiction because you've been clean how long now?
I'm in my 18th year
18th year.
from meth, cocaine.
Wow. So your story is the one of my favorite stories to share when I tell people that are coming out of addiction that is completely possible. So I'd love for you to tell again, because it never gets old to me. You're the day you have told people this is the day I knew I was going to get clean.
Okay. The day I knew I was going to get clean, I was not expecting to get clean. We were going to visit the church because my husband's mother had invited him to come. I was high as a kite, didn't want to go, and he was like, "I promised my mom, we're driving."
And he's on drugs too at
yes,
this time.
yes,
Okay.
and he's being very careful that at one point when we got to Chipley, the last stop sign, he did not even stop. He just came to a roll through because he was afraid I would jump out of the car. And but once I got to the church, I did just like I had done for years. I just got out, put my best foot forward, walked in
So
I fit right
highly
in with them.
functioning. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Highly
high functioning. So I walked right in, sat down, greeted people, sat down, and the Lord just changed me. He came on me. Holy Spirit came on me. I didn't go to an altar. Nobody prayed for me. I prayed for myself because it just felt different. I had been in and out of church, but I knew it was different that day. And I knew I was close to my wits' end. I mean, when you're getting to your wits' end in addiction. And I knew I was there, but I didn't dream that was the day I was going to be delivered. And I walked out of that church sober. From high as a kite, fiending to sober. It was
And this was
amazing.
a missions conference of some sort, a missions dinner, or was it a regular church service?
It was regular church service.
Oh, okay.
Because we had actually went to a Valentine banquet.
Okay.
The week before.
And then you just came home and just decided this was it.
Yeah.
You were done with addiction.
When we got in the car, when we were leaving, Adrian was like, okay, we were going to go to his parents to eat dinner. And he said, you want to stop and get you a cigarette now? Because he wouldn't stop to let me get any on the way. And I was like, no. And he said, what do you mean no? I said, I'm not going to smoke any more cigarettes. And he just looked at me. I mean, he didn't believe it because, we were going to stop using drugs before too.
Yeah.
And it was wild. God is wild.
What did detox look like for you?
There was no detox. I did not go through withdrawals. I had been through withdrawals before. I knew what withdrawals were. I went through none. It was radical deliverance.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
What
That's a miracle.
What about for Adrian?
Adrian, he had not been in addiction as long as me. You have to, and I'm not sure that Adrian was addicted to drugs or just addicted to the lifestyle.
Gotcha.
I think the lifestyle was kind of fun to him because he wasn't in addiction until he met me.
Right.
So I think it was just that outlaw mentality for him, really.
Gotcha.
But he was done too. I mean, he was done because he was just following me because I'm a leader.
I understand that. I understand that just a wee bit. Well, that's incredible. And since then, because you've always been kind of involved in small businesses, because that's kind of what your dad did, and your dad and mom always had these businesses. But what kind of led you to the career path that you're in now and the success that you have now?
I think because I had always worked with older people in healthcare, and my dad was sick. He had passed away. That's when I really spiraled in addiction. And so I knew that was something I didn't want to do anymore. It was too heavy.
Yeah.
So I knew I didn't want to do that. And cleaning was always like therapy to me. Like, I mean, I cleaned my house. I always kept things in order because my life was in chaos, but my house was in order, so to speak. That was what I controlled.
Gotcha.
And so my brother was working at a Christian retreat in Panama City Beach. He was over maintenance, and he was like, until you figure out what you want to do, because my mom had retired with the ALF that I was running, the assisted living facility. And he said, why don't you just come, get in the housekeeping and clean for the summer and just, make you some money and figure out where you want to go next. And I loved it. I mean, like, I was in my element. I wasn't sober, but I was in my element. And then once I got sober, I still wanted to clean. And it was peaceful to get in that place by myself and just get some instant gratification, because I like that too.
Yeah.
You walk into a mess and you make it beautiful. So I love that.
That makes a lot of sense. I've never really thought about it that way, the instant gratification that you get from cleaning, and how that could play into an addict's kind of thinking.
Because you want to be busy. You have to be busy when you come out. You can't have idle hands, idle mind, idle time. You really have to be busy.
Yeah. And then from that, like, as it's grown, tell a little bit about like what your business model looks like and the kind of people you hire now.
My business model has changed over the years. Before, I wanted to see people be successful that were struggling. And so I gave chances to people because I've never judged people from the way other people talk about them. I treat people by the way they treat me.
Right.
Because circumstances are different. And so to begin with, it was a learning process for me. You got to find people. People in addiction are the perfect people for housekeeping, because it's not a 9-to-5 job. It's not. So they find their niche there, because they can get in, they can work for a few days, they can be off for a few days, they can call in. It's not real structured.
Gotcha.
So I learned that don't work. You can't help someone. You're throwing good money after bad.
Yeah.
Because if you're in addiction, you're not gonna come up as long as you're in addiction. So then I was like, okay, we got to. Not luckily. There is no luck. Thank God. Nothing horrible happened. I don't have like horror stories from taking that chance with people.
Right.
But I learned that to get a chance, you have to make steps yourself. So if you're coming out of addiction, if you're clean and you're trying to get, a step ahead, you can come work with me. I'm not going to judge you by your background. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to use discernment. I'm probably not even going to check your background.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a small place. I don't get a lot of people that I don't know something about, and I read people pretty well.
Yeah.
And so, and we just go from there. You build, I give you a chance to build your trust. Like you're supervised closely.
Gotcha.
And that takes some extra time.
It does.
And then, but you get, like, the Lord has set us up, like He sent people to me that were they're amazing coaches. Like, they've been to hell and back. And they want to pull people out too. I mean, my team is amazing.
And then because they've been in that, they're also aware when someone starts relapsing or is struggling, and they can sense that. Because I mean, I've talked to you before about, with my first husband, I didn't know anything about addiction.
Yeah.
I was clueless. I didn't know the signs. And I had an active addict my entire first marriage. And it took me years to figure it out. And looking back, I feel like a complete idiot.
Because we are amazing actors.
Yes. And whenever when you got an easy one. And I was definitely the most naive because my dad was amazing and he sheltered me from all harm.
Yes.
Like there was nothing of harm in my life,
Yes.
and I had great
You were
parents.
easy
I
pickings.
was easy pickings for an addict, and and that sheltered me. But that's not the kind of people you're hiring, and because of that, you've got people that's come out of that and they're fully aware.
Yes.
And so that gives you an opportunity to see that and to pour into them. So it's not just about employing them,
Mhm.
because Jesus is at the center of everything you do.
Yeah.
So you guys are able to mentor as well as employ. And I bet a bunch of these people are going to church with you, or where they're going to church, and you're
Yeah.
you're knowing that they're getting poured into on different levels and not just with you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like right now it's important because it's the holidays.
Yeah.
So like we're hyper aware of each other.
Mm.
Just like, I mean, because even when you're out of addiction, there's still things that come. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mhm.
And so like holidays are a big trigger
So explain that, because I don't think everybody understands that.
because everybody's holidays aren't happy memories.
Mm.
And also, if you're still in the recovery process,
Mhm.
you probably don't have your kids back. You probably don't
That's
have
hard.
that relationship with your mom and dad to go home.
Yeah.
So like holidays they're not happy.
So what does that look like for you guys checking in with them? Like, what do you do?
You invite them to Thanksgiving dinner,
Yeah.
if I mean, like if I have somebody that I know that they don't have somebody to spend the holidays with, that's going to be a good influence.
Yeah.
You invite them to dinner. You just check on them. You ask them. You communicate. How are you doing today? How are you feeling today?
And they know
I
what
know
you're
the
asking.
holidays are coming up. Yeah,
Right.
they know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah. Jevin and I, and addiction is not a part of our story, but that's something, living away from our families and where God has called us away from our families. That's something we started years ago too, just like, and that has opened our minds to like, not everybody has somebody.
Mhm.
And because we've lived away and we love being near our families and we love the memories we have with having the big family gatherings, and because we're from small town America, just
Right.
like you, but we don't get to be close to our families on the holidays. And so we've always had an open door. So we're listening. We're always listening. Like, are there people that don't have somewhere to go? So our table doesn't look like the typical family gathering.
No,
You
we were
guys-
at it.
Yeah, you guys were here for Thanksgiving.
We were at it. You picked us up
Yeah.
Thanksgiving morning. Who does that?
We picked you guys up, and then our friends Dana and John were here from our Trinidad family, and we called them Framley. And then we had other friends that were here that don't have family gatherings, on that day. And every year it looks different. And I think that we just all need to be aware. No matter, it doesn't have to be someone coming out of addiction to be
Yeah.
aware of that. We can all just be more aware, and I think that's part of just loving our neighbors well.
Mhm.
Like, that's being aware of what our neighbors may be going through, because we can't love our neighbors well and assume everybody lives like we live.
No. And it just looks like an invitation.
Yes.
It doesn't mean they're going to show up.
That's
They
right.
don't have to show up.
That's exactly
They
right.
may choose to sit home because that's where they're comfortable
Right.
and that's where they're going to maintain.
Mhm.
It's just the offer.
That's right.
You
And
can
that's
come
love.
be a part of this, but
That's
you
right.
don't have to because I love you anyway.
That's right. And I'm not mad that you don't.
No.
Just like, Nelson there was a lady at his job that he found out didn't have anywhere to go.
Mhm.
And he knows this is what we do. And so he asked her to come, and she says, well, I just feel a little awkward
Yeah.
because she doesn't know us. He said, well, can I bring you a plate? And he took her a plate, and that meant something.
That was sweet. That
Yeah.
that was caring. You don't see that a lot at that age.
Yeah.
At Nelson's age, you don't. That's
Right.
rare.
But that's because we've modeled it with him. He has seen
It doesn't come natural.
It doesn't. You have to show that to your family and to your children. And I mean, we've served at Teen Challenge on Thanksgiving before. And I mean, we just have found creative ways. We've had extra food left over at Thanksgiving and found people to take it to. We just try to be aware of of it looking different. Even like I remember when my kids are in school, I started thinking about, I remembered when I was in school and my family didn't have a ton of money growing up. And I just remember that feeling when everybody was getting like these things on Valentine's Day. And it wasn't even as much about money as my parents just didn't think it was a big deal. And it really isn't. But it felt like a big deal when
I
other people
remember
were
it.
getting stuff.
I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And,
mean,
and
mine was home. And I would be like, well, why can't you send my
I
Valentine to
know.
school? And my dad's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I know. And my mom
Like, who
did.
are you trying to impress?
Exactly. And for us, and my mom always did something for me on
Yeah.
Valentine's. My mom was amazing. But I remember thinking about that with my kids because I always took them something to school. And not that we spent a ton on it, but then I started thinking, what about these other kids? And so I started taking extras to the office and said, hey, will you please make sure that these get to kids that would
Yeah.
not get something? And just like training yourself to think the way Jesus would think.
Yeah.
How can I love someone that maybe isn't feeling loved right now? And I think that's what starts pulling people out from the trenches, is dropping those seeds in there because those people don't know me. Those kids that
Yeah.
got those Valentines don't know it come from me,
No.
and I don't care, but we can show those little seeds of love to remind them
Somebody
that
cares.
somebody cares
Somebody
about you.
somewhere that I don't even know who is cares about me right now.
Exactly. And that reminds me of like one of Nelson's friends. She had mentioned that because I asked her, how did she come to know the Lord? Because she wasn't raised in a good home. She wasn't raised in church. She went through a lot of trauma. And she said, I had a neighbor. And she said, this neighbor, every time I went to her house, there was just so much peace there. And I loved being there. And they took me to church with them. And everybody at their church seemed to be the same as them. And she said, although I don't go to church with them now, there was always something that I'm like,
Yeah.
I want that. And it's like you thought that family may not even know, but I actually ran into that family the other day that she told me made such a difference in her life. And I said, I want you to know, she may never tell you this, but you did something.
Wow. Yeah.
She was watching you
Yes.
as a little girl, and it made a difference in her life, and it made her desire something that she didn't have.
Yeah.
And those kinds of things, like we think people aren't watching, but those kids that don't have it, they're watching. And we've got to draw those people closer. I think sometimes as we get so me and my four and no more, and we don't draw people close because we're afraid of being hurt, or we think we don't have time. And it's like, those are excuses. And as we say in Boom Roast World, roast them. Roast those excuses. Let people come near. Yes, they're probably going to hurt you, and it's going to be obnoxious, and it's going to take up time, but do it anyways.
Yeah.
Do it anyways. Invite the people to your table that might be a little louder than they should be, and they might show up late and bring something gross to eat. Like, who cares? Invite them anyway.
Yeah.
If Jesus could invite Judas to the table, knowing he was going to betray them,
That's good.
then why can't we invite people that might cause us some trouble down the road, but we planted a seed with them, and we're going to be accountable for those seeds. We'll stand before Jesus for those seeds. So I would rather stand before Jesus and it matter with him than not to do anything.
Right.
I just think we make so many excuses for that. And I don't want to stand before him and him be like, what about this? Like, yes. I put this in front of you and you didn't take that opportunity. And so I love that you're always looking for those opportunities. And I know like where God has led you with your church and all of these other ministries that he's given you opportunities with, and you've been on all these mission trips. And I don't know that we'll have time to talk about these other ministries because I think we're going to have to do a part 2, but I do want to hear, you went on a mission trip this year, and we haven't had a ton of time to talk about that, but I want to hear about that mission trip you went on this past year.
When I went to Ghana.
Yes.
Okay. We went to City of Refuge, which is an orphanage in Ghana, and they're pretty much self-sustained. I mean, it's amazing. Like we ate fresh chickens. The chickens are there. They farm the chickens. They have a well. They provide their own water. They are able to provide water to other areas. So they're working to get it to be income.
Yeah.
They have a school there, and their school in the orphanage at the City of Refuge, the education is the quality of education that the kids get there. Community families pay to send their kids there.
No kidding.
Yes, because first of all, it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
And the quality of education is just so good. And everybody there is volunteers that are teaching. And
Wow.
yeah. So that was, they have a shop where the ladies learn to sew, because they don't just rescue children, they'll rescue moms with kids. And so
What are they rescuing them from?
they're rescuing them from human trafficking.
Okay.
Yes. There's a Lake Volta,
Mm-hmm.
and fishing is very popular on the lake. That's how the community makes money.
Okay.
And so, of course, human traffickers take advantage of that, and they work the children. Like, we actually saw Daddy John Bull, who runs the orphanage. We went to Lake Volta. We went to the villages. Like, we went to villages with no power. That was that, you see it on TV, but I saw it in real life. We took a boat to get there. And there was a child that was 7, maybe, when we come back and docked, that was getting ready to go out on a boat by himself, 7 years old. Pastor John Bull saw it. He went to the child. He talked to him. He got him off the boat. He took him. He walked up and down the shore. The little boy was scared to begin with, to tell him, here's this guy that's come and approached you and got you off the boat asking you, where's your daddy?
Mm-hmm.
And so the child was with his daddy, but his daddy was just letting him go fishing by himself on his own boat at 8. And Pastor John Bull was like, you can't do this. This is child abuse. And I'm going to let you know that I'm going to be watching. And I don't want to see this again.
So most of these traffickers, what they're doing is they're telling the families, though, that we're going to hire your children.
We're hiring them, and we're going to pay you, and we're going to help you support your families.
But then that
doesn't happen.
And they don't pay them.
Yes.
And they're really just enslaving them.
Yes.
And so this City of Refuge will go in and save those boys from that.
Yes.
And then bring them into the City of Refuge.
Yes.
And actually support their families and give them education and a way to sustain themselves.
And the volunteers are the boys. They grew up and they stayed there. And they become ministers and teachers and doctors. And they stay there.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. We were with one gentleman that went back to the lake for the first time on the trip with us, and it was amazing just to sit and talk to him and hear his story of where he had came from, and then him back pouring into those kids because he knew they needed it, and it doesn't, you can't go in and just pull everybody out overnight.
No.
But you go back and you show love and you show your presence, and then the parents trust you and they'll listen to you over those other voices.
Right.
And if you see somebody in harm, like Daddy John Bull did, you're like, this isn't right.
Yeah, you start changing a culture that way. And it kind of reminds me of that old saying where the guy was walking up and down the beach and there was all of the starfish that were on the shore, and he's throwing one back at a time, and the guy goes, you're not doing any good. Yeah. He said, I am for this one. Mm-hmm. And I think that so many people are so busy telling other people that that's not doing any good.
Yeah, you're not making a difference.
You're not making a difference, or they're so busy criticizing the work you are doing while they're doing nothing. And we hear that all the time, especially with international mission stuff. Or even like, we bought this building where we got like an email from this guy I do not know, that apparently he's, from this area or whatever, a 2-page email telling me what I needed to do with the building. And, my thought is, when I ask around, I was like, what does this guy do? And they're like, nothing.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you buy the building? You sounds like you had some great ideas.
Everybody has those ideas.
Yes.
But they don't have the initiative and the effort to do it, but they can tell you how.
Exactly.
And if the Lord gives you something, if he lets you see something, 9 times out of 10, it's not to take it to start somebody else in it. It's for you to do it.
It's for you
that
to do
person's
it.
for you to talk to. It's not for you to call Tina and say, hey, you need to talk to so-and-so. It's like, I don't have a relationship with them. You do.
Exactly. And my pastor says that all the time. Don't come to me about a startup ministry you want me to start.
I love that. Yeah.
Don't come to me with something you want me to do.
God talks to him. He has his own assignments.
Right. Like, I got plenty to do. If you've gotten this vision for it, run with it.
I love that.
You know, and I think that's, you know, the fact that he's this guy over the city of refuge, like, that's so powerful that he's not let the excuses of the people and the poverty and what has happened to those villages and those boys be the excuses to not do
No, he
anything.
roasted that.
He roasted it. He's like, no, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a difference. And not only has he made a difference, we're hearing about it in the United States,
Yeah.
thousands of miles
Yeah.
away. Like, what kind of impact does he have? And now you guys are going to him.
Yeah.
So what is that saying?
Jessica DeZoglio, that's her heart is in Ghana at City of Refuge. And so she invited me to go and just to be able to experience that with her. But that's those kingdom connections.
Right.
You know, and not necessarily that that's where I'm supposed to go once a year.
Right.
But that's something that I got to experience.
Exactly.
And so I can pour into it and know that it's kingdom good.
And you're talking about it right now, and I don't know who else is going to hear about this.
Right.
But somebody else could be Googling right now, what is City of Refuge? And then it leads them to
Google
that.
Lake Volta.
Lake Volta. You
Yes.
guys heard that. Lake Volta. Google it, look it up. It may be something you're supposed to be investing in or going to and partnering with. And who knows what God is going to lead.
Right.
You know, but, or maybe your heart is stirred and like, okay, I got to stop making excuses.
Yeah.
Like, I got to get up and do something.
Yeah.
Like, because we can all do something. And like, you remind me so much of my friend Giona. And Giona, if you're listening, I'm talking about you, you know. And she is a cleaner too. You know, she just loves to clean. And that's like her love language. And when I first met her, she would always say, I don't think I really have any skills or whatever. I'm like, no, girl. Have you seen other people's houses? Like, you got skills.
Yeah.
Like, and I think people try to downplay their gifts. And I told her that from the very beginning. I was like, no, your gift is your gift and everybody doesn't have it.
Right.
Find out what you're supposed to do with that.
That's why one of my gifts is people management.
Mhm.
And that's how I learned how to manage people
Mm.
because I got more than I could do.
Yeah.
And I had to bring in people. And I learned because naturally I didn't know I was a people manager because I was a little overbearing.
Yeah.
So I learned how to manage people well. So it helped me develop that skill
Yeah.
that I already had. I just didn't know how to foster it.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is a great way for people to understand that when you have that leadership skill, a lot of times, you know, people, and you probably realize this, like in your addiction, you were leading lots of people in the wrong direction.
Absolutely. I was leading them into what I thought was a good time.
Yeah, right. And it seemed fun at the time. And the Bible says that sin is fun for
It
a
is.
season.
We don't enter into it to walk into that hell
That's
that
right.
we end up in.
That's exactly right. And Satan is a grand master of tricks, and it always looks, you know, like it's fun, and it's always the illusion.
Smoke and mirrors.
That's right. And he never tells you the consequences of that. He doesn't tell you that prison's behind it.
You
losing your
learn
kids
those
behind
on
it.
your own.
You do.
Or watching other people. If
Yeah.
you're lucky, you can watch somebody else and learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, which is rare.
Yeah.
Most people have to make those
Yeah.
mistakes themselves. But thankfully, that wasn't your story.
Yes.
And the Lord saved you from
It
that.
could have been.
It could have been.
It could have been. So that's why when I don't share arrest reports. I hate when people share arrest reports because I'm like, by the grace of God, that's not me.
Right. But it could have been.
It should have been.
Yeah. Yeah, because the parallel stories, like when you think about it, like why wasn't that me? And we'll close with this. I was just thinking the other day, I was talking to this young woman that was coming out of she was in a domestic violence situation, and she had went back and actually she's back in it right now. When she was telling me her story, I thought, this sounds like my story. And I'm like, and I started praying about it because I got so broken about it. It's like, Jesus, why did I get out? How did I get out? And the only difference, one, the grace of God,
Yes.
obviously. But the only difference in her story and mine is that I had a rooted family. I had community and I had faith.
Yes.
And she wasn't born into that. Her story was not the same in that respect. I had a father that modeled, something completely different. So I had something to fall back
Yeah.
on. That was the only difference between she and I. And I think I just sat there and cried thinking, man, I could have been that same person.
Yeah.
I could have been locked into that. I could be dead.
Yes.
Thank God that wasn't my story and that me and my son made it out.
Amen.
And the same thing for you. But I hope this encourages people, because obviously, addiction wasn't my story, but I love hearing that there's a way out.
There is. It's probable.
It is.
It's probable.
Yeah. Yeah. And you weren't looking for it. You weren't looking for freedom from it.
No.
And Jesus just
is
found
looking
you.
for us.
Yes.
It's not just the enemy's eyes that are roaming.
Right.
His eyes are roaming on
Yes.
who he can save
That's
and who he
right.
can bring up and
He's
deliver
looking for
and
that lamb.
bless.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once you get out of it, when you've truly been transformed and experienced what you did, you are ready to roast the excuses. Like, what can I do for the kingdom
Yeah.
of God? And then he opens these doors, and now you have this huge company and all these opportunities to go out in ministry, and you and her husband both are doing that. And that's the beauty of what Jesus can do. There is no limits. People are like, well, I'm a felon, or I have a history. Who cares? Jesus doesn't.
No.
And so just go. Just say yes to it.
Say yes and
just
go.
see what happens. So thank you for being here. There will be a part 2 because we have other things to talk about. We have to talk about Chair. We have to talk about the rallies you're a part of. And I think it would be awesome for me, you, and April to sit in the same room. Since we are the buddies and the accountability partners. So we're going to have to do that. So thank you for being on Boom Roasted today.
Thank you. I love you.
I know. I love you too.
This was awesome.
Thank you for being here. And I know Jevin probably wants us to be quiet. So, Boom Roasted.